and I have to make sure I share that link.
Okay, I see the link. The stones behind it. That's what's making it interesting, is because you got a round shape with a jagged, curvilinear shape. So you got opposition.
Yes, and that's
what's happening.
And when you take us on a journey, creating images, creating whatever it is we're creating, you are suggesting that we do the things that are happening in this image, like the small, large, and medium size ovalettes in the background, and then you got the lines in the leaf, the straight angular lines that are pointing in different directions.
Let's look at them. They're not really straight. They're angular. Look at it.
They're angular. That's what I mean.
The petals are what? They ovoid or curvilinear, we would say, because it's not absolutely squared off or angled off. You got curves. Straight line for the stem, which is feeding the leaves, it appears to be a straight line, but really a closer observation, you'll see from the tapering, from being big at the stem part, going up to the tip of the leaf, you see that there's a certain type of shift or change in the movement from it being big to small.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. You see? Look at all the things that we talk about overlaps and things crossing one another. You see that?
Yeah.
So we see the leaf overlapping what? Those small pebbles and stones. What are what? Another example of curvilinear, circular, or ovoid.
Yes.
So in nature, I'm telling you, all the master artists said it, nature is the best teacher. And I'm a very big advocate of it, you guys. Honestly, search out your surroundings. You can't go wrong. I'm tingling right now like it's church, creative church time, right, Nadine? Look how beautiful that looks.
Yes.
Look at now let's look at the psychology of what it might be saying to everybody. All the different psychological things it could say. It looks kind of dried out, so it can say time is rolling on. You see what I'm saying? If we're older and we're in a retirement, I know I keyed in on that first because I'm just 53 now, you guys. I know I'm a rookie. I know. And I'm not trying to put myself abreast to anybody that's really retired or anything, because I don't foresee myself retiring. So you know what I'm saying? I give everybody that big and huge when that happens. You know what I mean? But for me, observation of your surroundings could never stop. So for me, it could never stop from what I've chosen. I've chosen a path, whatever that may be, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just like, you know, how would you say Norman Rockwell? I use him as an example because he was one of the only ones that I've seen that did like a small drawing of him drawing his arm coming out of a bassinet and then all the way through his whole life. And then the casket, his arm is coming out of the casket for one more stroke. That's what I'm looking at. And I love that. But anyway, looking at this leaf and the circular stuff, and look at the moss on the rocks in the lower left-hand corner with those lime green leaves that you're barely seeing. Look at how you possibly zoom in the areas and make it an abstract painting.
Yeah.
There's certain areas that are very interesting just based upon what's happening. Like that, that whole right-hand corner quadrant where the leaf is kind of cracked and broke a little bit down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all the way down, that whole area right there, that whole little quadrant from the top all the way down to the stem and then over to the right. That whole area could be a one painting.
Wow.
Change the colors. You can use some of the color concepts we talked about, the basic, how would you say, opposites. You know, you can do that in yellow and violet. I mean, yellow and violet, blue and orange. You see what I'm saying? You can do it in green and red. Those are the basic ones. Why not a yellow? A lot of people are using the yellow, green, and red, violet combination. Imagine change that whole rhythm up and just use the shapes on how the stones are sitting. Then if you even look at the stones, you have some interesting things in the stones by the way they're sitting. Yeah, you see how you can just zoom in the areas, you know? shift the whole painting over to that to the right side, Nadine, and then
Oh,
leave it that and grab it and slide it over.
yeah, I was trying to do that. I'm not really good at
Okay, don't worry about it, but that whole upper right hand corner right there, down to the stem where you was at.
Okay.
If you want to put that box over that area.
Okay, let's see.
Right from the middle part where all the leaves are. Yeah, that whole side there, and bring it up to this, bring it up, bring it up some more, right to where the ball is. Yeah, right there. That area right there. Yep. That area. If you can zoom that area, you can see what it is that I'm saying, and it's going to look so pleasant. Like, it's like, wow, look at the tonality. Look at how these rocks are sitting together. You know?
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about how we can use this type of stuff even in graffiti. That's what they do.
Yeah, I was actually wondering how you could. I'm gonna stop this for a second.
No problem.
Back to this.
How a graffiti artist would use, just like how an abstract artist would use it, just like how I did. But then a graffiti artist sometimes will do what? They'll take that leaf and make the leaf the letters.
Real? Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying to you? This is how the mind of some graffiti artists work. I'm not saying all of them, so I don't want my friends to misunderstand me. So I got a lot of graffiti friends and they come online. Who was that posted the graffiti on our page? John Z?
Yes. I think it was John Z.
Thanks, John. We love it, man. You showed the example of what it is that you do on a regular, and thanks for displaying it for us so that everybody else here on Let's Paint and Draw Along can get a real understanding of how a graffiti artist moves. Yeah, I was trained in it. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah, I danced with it a little bit, but I didn't take it where these gentlemen is going with it, Alois, and people like this, all these guys, salute them. Oh, I have to turn this around so I can, really, let them know. Well, yeah, hold on. Salute you guys, for real. We salute you because graffiti is something that's misunderstood and understood at the same time. It's an eerie place for it.
Right.
But man, you got to a level where it can be really respected. You guys are driving it for the Mid-Atlantic region because you're considered the artist of the Mid-Atlantic. I mean, some of them, like Mikel Elam and some of the other artists that are not exactly graffiti artists, but they use the ideas of graffiti in their pieces, the processes and the movements. And man, they're really putting it down for the Delaware Valley, Mid-Atlantic region as far as art and artists coming out of the area. You know what I mean? Lavette Ballard, she's not directly, I would just say, with or in the vein of graffiti, but what she uses when she's doing her collages, which is amazing, is that she's using fences and then she's using movements with paints and stencils like a graffiti artist would do. But she's, she's an artist that's trained, academically trained, and self-taught too as well. So shout out to Lavette Ballard. She uses a lot of the elements of graffiti, not the absolute idea of it, but elements of addition, accumulation, using something that's familiar and pulling it out of context to use it again. Like she does these wall pieces with fences, and then she does these pieces that you can walk around like a piece of sculpture. And it's talking about energy and all this good stuff. But it's using the fundamentals and the ideas of graffiti to come into her situation. She may or may not, graffiti is all the way what it is. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you can see within her work some of the influences of graffiti in the processes of the work. So this is how graffiti is very important to everyone and anyone at that point. And then going back to our photograph, what some graffiti artists or what artists, they call them urban artists now, you know what I mean? They call them street artists. What some of them would do is if they're dealing with lettering and stuff like this, they would take the concept of that leaf and make that leaf shape the letters.
Okay.
and then would take those stone shapes and put those in the background like how you see them.
Mm-hmm.
So then the whole idea would be, how can I make this my name?
Okay.
Elements or the ideas of the roughness and the surface and the colors possibly, and the patterns that the leaf is telling me to use, how can I make that my letters?
Mm-hmm.
You see, how can I make that nay and then put those stones in the back, or use those little leaves down there and just put them just like a car, just sparingly here and there in the background, this bright yellow, green, which would be no more than your yellow, your highlighter green, if you want to look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can use a Sharpie marker or a pen, you know what I mean? Like we've been doing with graffiti. It's just that simple. Or with the concept of graffiti or doodling, because graffiti has taken the place of the idea of doodling now.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody wants to have this constructive idea. When you're doodling, you're basically, channeling your innermost, basically. You're letting things just fall out the way it is. You're not caring about if somebody says they like or dislike. You're not caring if it's too big, too small. You're just doodling all over the page. You may have that old school box in there. You may have other stuff going on inside, that doodle in the corner of we don't walk around with newspapers no more. So on those scrap pieces you have in your bag, you may doodle all over it and then come back later on, find out it was a good idea, and be looking for that one piece of scrap paper that you that you misplaced. You had a good idea on it. So yeah, I look at graffiti in the same way. It helps you to channel your innermost and infuse freely your ideas, So if you want, you can use a concept like that, you know what I mean, of the leaf. Because I got it on display over here too on my laptop here.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled it up like, oh, look at this other one. Look in the upper right-hand corner. See that one brown leaf up there?
Yeah, I just sent you I had to crop it from my phone. And so I just sent it to you, and I'll try to post it on Facebook. Let me see if I can post it so I can bring it up so everyone can see it. Groups. There you go. Post. I'm not going to put anything in it. I'm just posting it. Let's see. Let me get out of here.
Like, just think about it. How many different ways could you utilize that picture to do different mode? See, this is what I did when I first got out of school too. I didn't try to do anything per se. I just tried to believe the phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
I would take a photograph like this and I would take it through several different extremes so I can try to understand what the mode of art was. Like if I'm looking at as an existentialist or an abstractionist or abstract artist, yeah, see that? Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Couldn't that just be a painting? Heck, you can take that photograph and blow it up and send it off to one of these photo contests. I'm telling you, this is what it is. This is where we're at. That's why I say everybody's an artist, man. If you just go inside, go to your micro world, and then start just observing the macro from your micro, and then you'll be fine. I'm telling you, you'll learn some amazing things about yourself, about your environment, the whys on why you may be habitual and putting things in certain places. This all means something, you know what I mean? It's not random, everybody. Take the opportunity to observe around you, especially some of you guys that's really retired. Because that word retired kills a lot of people sometimes. It's like, I know, God rest, my mom and my aunties and my uncles, but for that class, a group of individuals, the word retirement meant that they had the privilege of stopping doing things. And I believe that that's a killer, that when you look at it in that way, because the end results unfortunately led to the ultimate, result of what it is that I'm talking about. So it's, how would you say? It's a nonstop thing. Look at your surroundings. You know what I mean? how are you going to take your surroundings and see things? So what I did was when I got out of college, I just did those type of things. I would take a picture of something, or I would look at something on the table, because I read that the Impressionists would do these things in the bars that they were in. They would look at things and argue their points of composition by placing the sugar bowl or whatever on the table to prove their theory. I found that was a. I said, okay, to myself, let me try to look at phenomenon and see if I could describe it in the way that this man was doing back then, now. And that was back in the mid 90s, I started doing it. So now you can see why I'm so efficient at it, because I've been doing it on a consistent basis, day in and day out, in different environments to yield certain said results. You know what I mean? Or how repetition and all those things that we talk about when we consider this photograph. How do you work this? You know what I mean? And this is what it is. So I don't know, Nadine, how many ways do you think you could go with that photograph? Come on, you see what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, there's so many different ways that you can go with it. You know, the one that was really interesting, or at least that I think we could probably tackle, was the fact of using the shape of the leaf to fit your lettering in.
Yeah. Well, or to make the leaf your lettering. That's another way. You can do the leaf, right? And then when you the leaf, you can just make the veins inside the leaf make the lettering. You see where the imagination can go? It's endless.
I didn't even think about that.
I know, you just brought it up. You said, well, Don, you know, I'm gonna put the outline basically and then put my name inside the outline. That's one way of looking at it, yes. But then look what I did to you. I added another aspect or dimension. Why not make the veins of nutrients describe your name inside the leaf? That's two ways of looking at it. Then now you have the other way where I was saying, okay, make the leaf your letters, meaning that take the leaf shapes and make those leaf shapes your letters. You see? Then on both sides of the ideas, you can make everything a silhouette if you wanted to. Oh, come on. You see?
I didn't even think about that.
This is what I'm saying, the creative mind, the observant mind. You gotta let it go like a fart. You see how I'm letting it go? Rapid fire, it's getting stinky in here. You know what I mean? That's how your mind is, like, creatively, that's how a creative mind, visual mind works. I'm going straight in. Let's dive in. Let's get it. Let's go. How are we going? And then that's where my excitement comes in. And now, like a little kid, I go, oh, wait. Did you think about this? See, now this is what I used to do with my mother.
Okay.
She didn't know art like that. She would say, hey, did you think about this? And she just, I didn't know. When I got older, she said, I didn't know half the things I was saying to you. I just was throwing it at you to keep you moving.
And look what it did.
Yeah. Because now, you know, how do you look at things? There's many different ways you can look at a diamond. How many facets are to a diamond? When I found out about that, messing around and getting part-time jobs on Jeweler Row, New York, and down here in Philly, it was like, oh man, you mean you can look at things from several different vantage points? And little Jewish Croatian dude said, yeah, my friend, and handed me the little eye spectacle thing. And I looked and seen all of that. I was like, thank you, sir. You know what I mean? Wow. Quit the job the next day because it blew my mind. And then it put me on that search for other things that I found and I'm still searching for. So that's how it should work, everybody, whether you're 89 or 9. You know what I mean? Be able to still have your mind fresh to be able to look, see, do. So what does that mean? Let me get over here on this board before everybody gets bored. You know?
And while you're coming on, go ahead.
I was thinking I should save. Oh, all right, I pressed the wrong button. I'm going to save this photograph on my laptop here. You know, hold on. I got a special folder for us that when we use it, I put all our photos in.
Yeah. And for anyone who's just tuning in, this is Let's Paint. and draw along our pop-up art session for Sunday mornings. We just got right into it. We were so excited. We just went into, and so,
Sorry, everybody. That's how it
yeah,
happens.
excuse us for talking art. That's all
There
we
you
have to
go.
say. So my name is Nadine, and we are joined with Don Stephens from DonStephensArt.com. And so let's get started. Pull out your drawing pad or paper or stock paper, pencil. You've got any Sharpie markers, highlighters, pull them out because I think we might be using them today. So let's go.
Well, you know the deal, everybody. The major theme that we have going on is that, you should be able to use anything in and around you, everybody. So that's the main thing, That's the main thing. After that, everyone, we just pick up the pencil and get the rocking and rolling. I'll pick up the marker on my end and turn my lights on for you guys so we can see each other pretty good and get the rocking and rolling. You should see me, everybody. I'm patting my pockets like I'm, ferociously scared of losing something. Let me take a sip of my coffee. Yeah, everybody had their coffee? Mine's have a spirulina in it today.
Mm-hmm.
Heard that, Nadine, or not?
Yeah, I hear it. You still there? Yeah. There you go. Okay, good.
I got the green here, the spirulina.
Okay. Got the spirulina going on.
Yeah, the other one that helps to cut appetite and all that stuff. Helps with bone growth, all that good stuff. All right. Yeah, oh well. Those
now, do you have the liquid form or the powdered?
Powdered.
Okay.
To put in my coffee. I like the powdered. The liquid form is kind of tart. I do that by itself, like it's like castor oil.
Mm-hmm.
I do that, everybody. All right. Once again, I'm going to say it quick now. Nadine, I apologize for the board, but that's the way it has to be because I like to zoom in on parts. Okay. So I know it goes against your rule. You want the whole thing there. I do apologize to you, Earth, but Don's haphazard, chaotic style has to go in with what it is. So I do apologize again. I'll make sure that things are able to be seen, though, Nadine. I will work hard on that. And for everybody else out there as well. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the private emails, even though I think you should put it on the page. Thank you for the emails and for your votes of confidence for us to keep going and to keep doing no matter what the situation is. I can take that like it's gold too as well for future things that happen. So if you're even willing to send a comment over, I'm willing to say thank you very much. And for Nadine, because she doesn't get an opportunity to see some of these things, I say for Nadine, thank you to you guys because I relate them to her so she can understand, the rhythm of why people. I don't know why people don't want to put it on the page, but we're just going to keep going with the rhythm of me getting the email, me obliging the deal of erasing the email, but nothing was said about who I share it with. So I have to share it with Nadine. That's how I feel. We're in this endeavor together. I'm sharing her the thoughts of the populace as they come. And I am erasing them, so I'm not keeping them. So I'm obliging by that. So for all the individuals that made that deal with me, we still got it. So I don't want to see you start sending the emails now because you're all upset.
Yeah. And, it is really helpful because maybe what you're thinking or feeling, other people are thinking and feeling the same way. And we don't know it unless you do share it,
Yeah.
So it is important. And if we could ask anything is that you would share the comment on the feed in our group because it is most helpful because there are a lot of people that are a little bit shy about sharing how they feel about certain things, or they don't want to hurt our feelings, with some of their suggestions or comments by putting that out there. But we're here to learn, discover.
Nadine, I say hurt my feelings.
Yeah, because
I respect you a little bit more.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you because as we're, you know, ironing through the kinks, and working with how we get you energized about creating, we're using the tools that are available to us at a low cost rate. And that's because, you know, we're bringing it to you as free as possible. You know, we do appreciate donations. And we also appreciate the fact that if you join our Patreon page, link is in the description, that helps us. But that's just a little, that's a drop in the bucket. That doesn't even pay for the cost of hiring Don to give a session, you know. So, but we do appreciate those who have subscribed and for those who have sent monetary funds to Don for what he delivers to us as a whole in our community. So thank you. Don is getting ready. I'm going to punch him up. I might get a little quiet, but it's because I really am excited about the journey Don is going to take us on today. So let's get started.
Hey, all right, everybody. We were just talking about the graffiti thing earlier and all that good stuff. And just to really quick spin off of what Nadine was saying, thanks to everybody that brought a t-shirt, come out to the page and brought a t-shirt 24/7, 365, hashtag keep creating. So for those individuals that brought the t-shirts, great, thanks. We're looking forward to seeing you post pictures of you wearing the t-shirt. All right. So yeah, buddy. So then look, our idea was we was looking at this photograph that Nadine brought up again. Beautiful picture that she has taken of a leaf just sitting on stone, and it just captured her soul. So what we had a conversation about was how are we going to be able to utilize this idea, this effervescence, this depiction of nature, and then how could we take it through the graffiti realm? You know what I mean? Possibly shedding an eye on how graffiti artists think, possibly. Well, if you looked at the thing there, look at the screen, we have what? 3, 6, 8 leaves showing. So basically, you know what I mean? If you look at that photograph, you got a shape here like this, right? That's going, ooh, it's going all the way in. It's got a circular point here. You're just going over it. Then you got 3 leaves over here that do the same thing. I'm just doing a basic idea of what the shapes are. And then now you have, yep, 3. And then you have that broken one. So you have this one, this one here, and then now you have a broken one here. So we'll just make a makeshift shape for that broken one. See what I'm saying? And then now you had a one little fat one right there. And then now you had a stem that's coming off the side and then down and around. So in your mind, you're seeing that image like that. Now you see all the little circles for the stones. You see the what I keep on keying on, these little green leaves that's coming like this, like little saplings, little sproutings. You see, so then already for an abstract painting, I got you already. See what I'm saying, Nadine?
Oh, yeah.
And now we can put, you know, we put one stone here, put another stone here. Now all the rest of this is a line that's here. Look how quick it happens, you see? This is just me using my observant mind to say where this stuff is going to be. And then now I just use the patterns of stones that they're saying. That's random. Ovalets, bigger, smaller, you know? And look what starts to happen if you look at the board there. You see that, Nadine?
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying to everyone is, when you're looking, it happens just that fast, everyone. You're looking at the edges. The edges are very important to establish an idea from. Because once you look at the idea, you know those stones are behind the leaf or underneath the leaf. We know we're not in the air. You see what I'm saying? See how certain things, or we can add it in. We can make this look like it's in the air. But the state we're at right now, we're just looking at the edges. This is how you're looking at the edges in your mind's eye. Certain things that start to pluck itself out, like the leaf shape that's up in the upper right-hand corner, the dried out leaf. Maybe some of you key in on that, maybe some of you wouldn't. How about the other stem marks that's in the inside? I'm just trying to assess all the things that we're seeing. You see? Now, true, it's not looking exactly like how you're seeing it in the photograph. Yeah, that's the whole point. You see, so you're looking, and you see all this stuff, or what we would call data at this point, because we're living in an information age. Let's use the information age lingo. You know, this to us would be considered us taking in data, visual data. That's what's happening right now, okay? Now we got that visual data. You got your visual data, Nadine?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Some of these can be real small if you wanted to do them real small, like what they would call thumbnails, everybody. All right, now I'm going to get rid of this real quick now. Oops. Get the board together. Sometimes my board leans and stuff, so I got to watch it because some of the screws I broke from being too excited, everybody, and screwed too hard or didn't pay attention and smacked some screws off. So, all right, we got that idea together basically on what we are looking at to be able to take that template that we just put in the noodle here to say to ourselves in a graffiti style now, how am I going to use these elements? Well, I can use, first I'm saying I'm going to use it to make my name. So I'm going to come in on an angle. I like the way that leaf is on an angle. So I'm going to use the leaf like that. And then now I'm going to put another leaf that's going to connect this way. And then show that space in there. You see that? So now that's the leaf going this way. This is the leaf going this way. See that? That's a D.
Yeah. Wow.
You see, now I'll put the stem thing here. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
A leaf. And make it look like this leaf is descending down this way. But now I'm just going to take one big old leaf and make that an O. See that?
Yeah.
So then now I can put what? Put an N right down here and make this leaf, make a couple of leaves down here look like an N. And it depends upon what N you're looking at. You see it?
Yeah.
And then now what I can do is I'll take the little stones, even put the stones in the inside here. See what we're doing, everybody? I'm using the design and the pattern and the overlaps or the sitting next to of the edges of these oval or curvilinear or ovoid shapes of the stones. See, Nadine?
Yeah.
I can use it so it can describe the inside of the N, you see? Now the same thing has to exist on the outside or maybe a little bit bigger. You know, then I can take the stem and then I can put my name in there. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So then now I design by putting the stones in. Putting the stones in, having the liberty to do something bigger. If I did it on that side, then I have to do it in here too, so you can see the end. I'm using all those shapes to help my letters come out even more. Or it's going to look like it's what? Cryptic, and the person is going to be confused and may not want to try to read. You see? And then now, since I've been screaming about those little green leaves that's in the moss over there, I would take the little green leaves and just, see, I'm working on the board, but then if I was using the colors of what's there, I would be using the brown colors as a base. And some of those grays for the stone as a base. And then that'll help my letters to stand out more. But for right now, we're using just shapes to get you to think in that idea. You see? You got the screen, Nadine? I love it when you do that. And I was looking at the piece when you did the other day, when you did the screen like that. I was like, okay, yeah, that looks good. Because I'm doing it on the board, and then you can see your example, just like how you thought about. So great idea. Thanks.
Yeah, and also because, it's just you and I and the viewers not on camera with us, which if they wanted to join us, they could.
Well, yeah, that's why we miss Miss Paulette. You know what I mean? She used to every week until her shift changed. So Miss Paulette, we miss you dearly in your questions, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. We miss you, man. You're listening. Shout out to you. You keep creating, and we still for you. So you keep listening and keep watching, and we'll see you when that shift change or when something comes up where you can come on with us again. All right. Anything for Sue-Ann, thanks for always coming through when you do come through right before you go to church. So thank you for giving us that bit of time that you do give us. We miss Joshua Torito, we missed the times when you was in the beginning when you used to come through and crack your jokes. Man. So we miss you too as well, man, on the live. If you're listening, hey, man, every now and then, once or twice, just come on through and just crack a couple of jokes and then jump right on out, man. Your
Absolutely.
Missed them. So, I kicked the screen, didn't I? Yeah, okay.
Just a little
All right,
bit.
we still, just a little bit now. Now I can move in on that, or I can zoom that in. So, yeah. Let's see. All right. Oh, there it is.
Nice.
There it is. Really see it. Yeah, there you go. That's what I was wanting to do, Nadine. But sometimes I don't have the screen on this little thing. Who's on the site? Who's that? Somebody just hit me up on Messenger and said they was on the page there.
Oh, cool.
All right.
Yeah, we got one thumbs up. Appreciate the thumbs up. If you like what's going on here, definitely give us a thumbs up. We love it. Yeah. And Sue-Ann, she says, I'm on site. Thank you, Sue-Ann. We love you.
All day.
All day, 24/7. Keep creating. This is beautiful. I hope you're following along with us, Sue-Ann, because this is fun.
Yes, indeed. All right, I'm just trying to get my screen unjammed. All right, yeah, here we go. And there we go, everybody. So you can see how the leaves, and I can take more description from the leaves and utilize them. You see, and if you look at that photograph, you can see how we use the idea of the photograph. Sue-Ann, yeah. All right, Sue-Ann, we got it. Thank you. Too much. Yeah, you see everybody? So we got 2 leaves up top that's looking like a D. We got 1 leaf that you can look at as being 2 leaves again, or just 1 leaf cracked in the middle. That's how I would play that. You see, that's how I would use the crack that's in one of the leaves that's there. Using it as an, and then I took the liberty to change the configuration of the last 3 leaves to make the end. But that's what you're able to do. And then I use the stem and then put my initials or my name, my straw man name inside there as, you know what I mean, my signature. If you look around at a lot of high-end graffiti pieces that you see in your area, you'll see that the artist has signed their name simply somewhere like that. If you see any other letters there, that means that those are abbreviations for their group of young men or crew of individuals that they run with.
Mm-hmm.
So who I ran with doing graffiti when I was in high school was a crew out of Brooklyn called Kraftwerks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you would sign your name, and then at the end of your name, or somewhere in and around your name, you would put the crew that you was with. So you would put, you know, CWK.
WK. And we could put LPADA. Let's paint and draw along.
There you go. That's the crew.
That's the crew.
That's the crew. That's why I said it. You know what I mean?
So I gotta find a place to put that.
Yeah, well, no, you see where I suggested on the board?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, look at where I suggested on the board, and then you can see an idea on how to place it and where you could possibly place it.
Gotcha.
And then if you look back at the other ones, the last two that you did, Nadine, and then look at where I'm suggesting, you can see why in those videos I was saying certain things to get you to sign your name in certain places.
Mm-hmm.
Like graffiti, really, they don't want the design, the name, their name, to interfere with their design at all. So a lot of times they'll work their name in or write it so simple and plain and one, so that your eye doesn't get confused about what it is they put that work in on to do.
All right, all right. Hey, check this out.
What's up?
Ready?
I'm ready.
Sue-Ann just sent hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sue-Ann. Yep.
Now, Sue-Ann, I love the way you did my name, but next time we want you to do Sue. That'll be your graffiti name.
Okay.
Or another graffiti name you can have is Ann.
Yep.
So that's up to you, Sue-Ann, what graffiti name you would want, but that's hot. Way to go.
Yeah, way to go, way to go.
See how wonderful that is, how fast it is for a person to grasp the idea and just go with it freely?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I love it, man.
Beautiful,
you gotta
beautiful.
I'm so happy that oh, man, keep creating, everybody. Keep creating. Oh, my God. Yeah, Nadine. Ooh, you can put yours up as the main one while you're doing that. I like when you do it like that, but.
Okay, hold on. How about how about this?
Look at that. Okay, Nadine, I see your pencil work. You see? So you see how we're just using the curve idea of the design of the leaf. But if you look at the edge, you could have used the jagged part of it too as well. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. I see that N sneaking behind the A. Just like that, Nadine. Okay.
It's like that.
Okay, it's like that. Okay. Y'all hear Nadine getting all tough on us, man? Next thing you know, we're going to see Nadine in cans in the background. You know what I mean? And then, hold on, let me get one of my cans real quick so we can act like Nadine is going to be all rough, rugged, and raw now. Like Nadine in the background, like, hey, Don, man, hurry up. I got to do my fill-in real quick.
Yeah. That's funny.
I would love to do a skit like that, Nadine. We got to get out somewhere and do a skit like that, like we really trying to hit a wall or something.
That's
and
cool.
We get all caught up in the artist thing. Like we start debating what should be up there. Yeah?
That's funny.
Yeah, one day, man. One day we'll have fun like that, man. When people say they're silly. You know what I mean? Wow. Way to go. And then I was thinking we can have one of the real graffiti artists come out and then they're putting something up on the wall and they go, and then we look at him like, well, yeah, we was about to do that if we could get to our resolution of what the template could be.
Right.
And then
We're
just
too
let
busy.
the artist eye at that moment. Like, you know, don't hate on us because we have an artist eye, my friend. You know what I mean?
Right. Thanks,
Hey,
Sue
where's
Ann.
Josh? Picture.
What's that about Josh?
I think Josh just sent a picture. Let me see what's going on here.
Did he? Did he send it to you or he put it on the page?
Hey, Josh, if you're listening, put it on the page. Because he just sent me a photograph. Let me see. He sent something.
Or he could send it to me and I can share it on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, send it to Nadine too, Josh.
I'm gonna try to get it up there.
Okay. Hold on. I don't know. Let me see what photos because we were talking. Oh no, he sent some other photos.
Oh, okay.
He didn't send. My apologies, Josh. Thank you for the photos, my friend. Yeah, he sent some photos of a portrait that I was working on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I did another. You know how I do animal portraits and stuff like that when people ask about it.
Right.
So, you know, opportunity, and that was a connect to Mr. Torito there. So we give a shout out to Josh. I thought you was watching and drawing along with us, sir. But if not, it's okay. We'll catch you next time.
It's all good.
Yeah, in the hood. Yes, indeed.
All good.
But yeah, Nadine, yeah. Yeah. Make some of them overlap. Like you see half of them, you know, half of a circle at the edges of where the leaves are, you know, but fill in the whole area. So we can see that A is there and that last leaf is an eye.
Right.
You can put a bigger stone over top of the eye so it really looks like an eye. You see what I'm saying?
A stone?
Yeah, like put a stone on the outside that looks like it's sitting like a period for an eye. Like a big one, yeah, that would fit that leaf. Like it would be, yeah, there you go, you got it. Now put all the other little stones around it and it should read like an eye. Because if you can make out the N-A, then that eye is right there. So that's why I was saying we'll possibly make it a stone. See how it's starting to feel like a period now?
Oh, yeah, it is.
It's just me?
No.
Or you see? And I
no,
would
I see it.
Together. Put your rocks closer together that they're touching, each and every one of them. No matter how small, how big, they're touching one another. Because if you look at the photograph, that's the rule in the photograph.
Okay.
See, stones is touching one another. Nothing is not separate until you get to that lower left-hand corner where the moss rocks are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
those little, see? So that's what I mean by borrowing the rule from the source material. In that picture, the rule is all circles or ovals or curvilinear shapes touch one another and overlap.
Mm-hmm. You
see how when you make it more dense like that, look what happens. It stands out more. You see?
And Sue Ann says her name is Jewel.
Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that. Jewel, okay. All right. Next graffiti piece we do, you got to do your name instead of mine. I love what you did, but I would love to see what you would do with your name. Because that's what graffiti is all about, expressing oneself. It's not about, you know, oh, Don's here, let me do what. No, when it comes to graffiti, it's like, all right, I heard the idea. Let me do my name now. Let me do my character. Let me move things the way I'm seeing them now. Yeah, that's what graffiti does for you. You see, graffiti has very limited rules. Graffiti was all about breaking rules, basically. You know, a lot of these guys would use Dadaism and all of that and illusionist type of ideas and thoughts. Yeah. And a lot of those illusional effects and things that you would see in a lot of these paintings were seen in nature first. That's where they would get the idea. It was seen in nature around them. They would take those ideas and then express them on canvas on a two-dimensional plane. Watch out, Don's talking deep now. Uh-oh. It's on and Nadine, deep moments.
Sorry for talking about art.
There you go, Nadine. Yeah, man. We plugging our stuff, man. Watch out, man. But yeah, sorry for talking about art, you guys, but that's what it is. That's why I say art is the glue and the filter by which man grows, lives, and creates and explores. If it wasn't an integral part, why is it in every facet of your life?
Right. Everywhere you look.
Yeah, you wouldn't know what a religion looked like without an artist.
You wouldn't know what a Coca-Cola can look like.
You wouldn't know the perfect shape for a Coca-Cola bottle in that dark glass. I mean, that green glass with that dark liquid in the inside. Hint, hint, everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Ooh, look at that. Now you got to put it in between the I and the A, right?
The I, yeah, I and A.
No, that's in there. Oh. That's inside the A.
Oh, yeah.
On the other side, right in there. Yeah. As soon as you put it in there, now I really can see the A and I can start to see the I.
Okay.
You see what we're saying now? Yeah. Now you see how graffiti makes you pay attention to detail and all this good stuff?
Yeah.
Because you got to run with the idea and push it to make it come to life. And I'm sure all my graffiti artists out there going to look at this one and be like, yo, she's learning fast, yo, D, man. Maybe you're like, you know what I mean, Yoda in this game.
Yep.
You know, young
Padawan. The Black Yoda.
Draw you must you draw?
Yeah. There you go. Black Yoda.
Nah, but looking good, Nadine. And it looks like your hand is feeling good doing it. Like,
well,
isn't
no
that funny?
pencil.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I can see in your hand movement that you're not angst about it at all. Like you're really enjoying this mode in sessions now. Because you can see how it's like, oh man, that's looking good on the screen, man. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, buddy, look at that. And that's repetitive motion. You can call it an echo if you want, of the same curvilinear or oval shape at various sizes. And look what that does for you. Now that doesn't look like bubbles. That looks like stone now for real.
Good.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, you got it. And see how you don't have to do the whole page? You can just do just around the left just to prove the point. You see? That's another thing graffiti does for you. If you see certain graffiti artist books, male or female, young or old, they'll have images on the page like this that just fits the middle of the page. They're not worrying about filling it from end to end. I forget that French term that means the fear of emptiness, where everybody comes.
We discussed it before.
But I forget Baku.
Baku, yeah.
Something
like that.
Yeah, it means the fear of empty space. So that's where a lot of our painting styles come out of, the artists that were using that spontaneous idea that was in the French and the European painting styles, which was the Impressionists. And that's why you would see a stroke all over the place, because it was an idea of saying that there is no empty space. They was already looking at live space as nothing being empty. The sky had a mark, clouds had a mark, the air itself has a mark. Those are all atmospheric effects, but it's from the idea of having a fear of empty space on the canvas. So, but now we're in the era where we can break that rule. So you can use it in and around your letterings in graffiti like this. And I would say, you know, do it to 2 inches around or inch around, however you feel, that'll describe your design. You know, looking quite interesting, Nadine.
It is.
Now, couldn't you see how this could be an idea where you would scan this in and take it through the programs, make it a line, and then now this is another coloring book.
Oh, yeah.
You see?
Okay, I'm putting that on my list of things for 2024.
Yeah, or the last quarter of 2023 going into 2024. Yeah. Looking good, Nadine. Looking good. Look at the rhythm on how she's moving. I could put music on right now and she'd be moving in a certain rhythm and pace. I would
Yeah,
say her pacing is right now.
it's
I'm
very
listening
relaxing.
Coach. Yeah. Like, hold on. I'm gonna turn up what I got in the background, see if y'all guys can hear it. Keep working, Nadine.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
See, that's what your pacing was feeling like. This song right here.
It's a Sunday morning in the summer. It's a semi-hot August day. We got a little jazz going.
Yes, indeed.
We're enjoying the rhythm and the flow of the pebbles.
Yep. Take your time, though. Go back to what you was doing on that right side in there. You're starting to get too over in there. You see how it's a difference from right to left, or how you did it on the right side compared to what you did it. That's where you try to stay consistent, not perfect, consistent.
Okay.
So you can carry it through. You don't want any looseness in your intent when you're doing graffiti, because you don't want anybody to take you as if it's a joke or it's insignificant or it's childlike. See, that's what used to have to be fought with when graffiti artists were establishing themselves in New York City, in Chicago. You know, these are some of the main ports that were receiving some of this stuff. Then it spread from California to the Midwest, you know what I mean? Because people were taking flights to California. And if you look out there, you know, murals are used in very numerous ways. But out there, they encountered domestic muralists. So they encountered Mexican muralists, and they use a lot of, like, you know, Diego Rivera style in their paintings by Can. So these were some of the guys that were, you know, bringing some real explosive pieces to the scene in the mid 90s going forward. Like, really, if you really study graffiti and look at it from coast to coast, you can see all the trends, and you would appreciate it even more. You'd be like, wow, nah, these guys are really talented. These guys and girls that are doing this and, you know, taking certain risks just to be seen, for us to have a conversation like this and to have it continue over from Tucker Carlson conversation is amazing if you really want to look at it. Because if it really was insignificant, why are you even talking about it?
Right? Yeah, because he brought it up. Well, how did that end up in politics?
Right.
So he was talking about the lawlessness of urban communities.
Yeah. Well, if I'm trying to express myself, something has to happen, right? If you're not going to give space and place and, you know, to be able to express myself openly, then some of us are going to take that risk to make you see us. Maybe you go bigger down there, Nadine.
Okay.
You know, because it's coming now, you see, or not. It's looking like your idea is you want to get more dense down there. You see the two different concepts that's going?
Yeah, because as it gets bigger, it seems like it's opening up. Yeah.
Yeah, you can play with that idea more. You see how there's no wrong and no right? You just start explaining what is your specific intent with the idea. And then once you say what your intent is, we as audience, when it comes to graffiti, we're looking to see that idea. You know what I mean? And if you look at some of the best graffiti artists, they'll talk to you, you know, in that way. But for a book piece, this is looking mighty nice, man. There's so many different ways you can spin this. But you see how that one stone idea up there is really starting to take on that eye idea, right? The
Yeah.
dot. You see, it's endless what you can do, Nadine. That's what I'm trying to show you. Just keep your mind open, everybody, and then look and observe and then take a chance. And if it doesn't work on this one, do another one. Do the leaf coming in from the right side then, instead of coming in the side, you see? Do it upside down, you know? How could you reverse the idea? Make the stones the letters and the leaves be insignificant.
Wow. Yeah.
Just by looking at the photograph that we have pinned up on our site, everybody, so you can go to the page. Nadine, professionally place that stuff there for you guys to go get. Please go over and take a copy of the photograph that we're using as a template. We're not trying to make it look exact to the photograph. We went through that earlier in the video. So if you want, you can wait till Wednesday and watch us do the replay Wednesday, throwback Wednesday, or you can wait into this, and then when it's posted, you can see all the things on how we talked about how to just do a basic little drawing to say what that image is at first by just looking at the edges. And that'll help you to assess what you can use in your specific graffiti piece, and then go from there. You see, so way to go. You can also, because it's the Sharpie marker, you can come back with your watercolor set, everybody, and fill this in. You can come back with your watercolor pencils and fill that in, because it won't blur the Sharpie line. So Sharpie is really a good one to work with. I found that a lot of times if you work with alcohol over a Sharpie line, you may blur it a little bit. So you may have to come back and reestablish some of the lines. But other than that, a Sharpie marker is a good ink that absorbs inside the paper, and it doesn't get reconstituted if you use water-based items over top. So if you use acrylic too thick, yeah, you'll cover the line, but you can come back with the Sharpie and reestablish lines once it dries. Watercolor, if you use the watercolor, you'll see, everybody, even if you use the Crayola sets that's out there, you'll see how after using your Sharpie like this and then dropping those colors in, how beautiful things you can do with very simple sets. Go to the dollar store, get one of the Crayola sets that they'll have on sale. The kids are going back to school now. So since they're going back to school, Michael's is going to have a sale. All the little stores are going to have going back to school sale. And then what you find in these stores is they'll go and get all the Crayola stuff and the artist loft stuff, and they'll put it in their studio. And they'll put the stuff on incredible sales you won't believe on art supplies. So I would say, within the end of the month, the last week of the month, start looking for those sales. You may start seeing them in the middle of August. So, because you have a lot of kids
talking about it.
They're already going back to school down south already. Below the Macy-Dixon line, they're already going back to school first, second week of August, right? From what I understand.
I'm not sure about that, but if they are, I wouldn't be surprised.
Right, but those of you that leave us a message online to let us know if some of the kids in the regions in the southeastern region are going back to school already. And even in the northeastern region, if you're in Catholic schools or private schools, have you started to go back to school yet? And have you looked for your art sales and supply sales that may be going on at Michael's and stuff like that? What other stores? The Office Maxes, the Staples. Yeah, those stores like that. They all have supplies. Even your supermarkets, I have a couple of supplies, Crayola of such. A lot of times I see. A lot of times Crayola. Yeah, Rite Aid. Oh, yeah.
Rite Aid, I got these.
There you go. Yep. At every drugstore, you go to every drugstore, they're going to have art supplies and office supplies and student supplies in there. So yeah, your highlighters, you're going to get a lot of good highlighters in the drugstores. I mean, so these are the stores that are in everybody's area, no matter what region they're in. Northeastern, Southeastern, Mid-Atlantic, you know what I mean? in Chicago, you know what I mean? Washington State, you know, things like that. All the different states, you're gonna have the same type of stores. They may have different names though. But generally speaking, they're surplus stores where they sell market goods at reduced prices because they're aftermarket, basically, surplus. So you want to look into that, everybody, even for yourself for art supplies. And it's not a bad thing to do to start yourself off with before you go out there and buy $100 set of acrylic paints and not understand how to use it. So a lot of times I tell people to go to the more lower brands or the more student-based brands to get your understanding together before you start putting out that big money. But if you don't mind putting out the big money, then that's on you then, you know, buy as you please, you know. I'm not one to stop anybody from doing that, but just realize you have to do what we call wasting to learn.
Yep.
You can't micromanage paint by just putting a couple of squirts out and think that's it. No, it doesn't work that way, everybody. As soon as you put those couple of squirts out, you're gonna need more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do it all the time on my glass palettes. I can show you a glass palette now with the paint that's dried on it. You can see how I just put a couple of squirts out, but still I had to put out ample amount. And you can see where I wasted, you know, a certain amount. So if you really was micromanaging or budgeting your art career, you would have to assess how much paint, how many milliliters of paint did I put out, and how much of it did it dry to assess how much I wasted. You see, to get to where I needed to be to understand color. Because whether we like it or not, there's a certain number that you hit with waste to translate understanding.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. These are things we don't think about on the average. The art shows you how to manage things. You may not have a lot of art supply money. You may not have a lot of art supplies, but you're going to create something. Now let's think about how much art, besides graffiti at this point, that was done that way. But what's a duo? A duotone, you use two colors. You just limit yourself. Well, when you investigate these artists, they were doing duotones because they didn't have the money to buy the other inks.
Right.
Or they may not have been in a region where it was easily accessible. You see? Now, if you get into the Western world use it all the time in advertising. Right. But then when you museum in the painting world, this is where you see where certain artists were, how would you say, squatters in factory buildings and things like this, and would use what they could find. And this is how latex and stuff found its way into the art world. How do I take the very thing that's around me, the cheapest thing around me, and get your interest? That's why you started seeing conversation about what is the person buying? Are you buying the material or are you buying the thought?
Right.
And then third, along with that thought, is the journey. So which one are you purchasing? You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that would in the art scene all over the world at that point, because as soon as you start using these industrial paints, people started to question the value. But then the argument of the artist is you're buying the thought and the journey, right, to get image that you're admiring enough to even consider purchasing. Or you saw my work on the street and you wanted to find out who I was, found out who I was so I can do your basement. Right. Or I can do a club that you have. You have a club, you know, that you need to look popular and up to date. So you would call me in, the street artist, to give you that edge. Mm-hmm. And then if you look in the 80s and 90s, that's what it was. They would have graffiti artists come in, and that's where you start seeing certain lettering styles and ideas and thoughts starts to really come to life the way that I'm suggesting. You know what I mean? This is nothing new, everybody. This is what it is. And even your high-end artists are using this. And if you look at Sotheby's in the art scene now, you have various artists that are graffiti-based artists that
Right.
are on these lists as millionaires, basically.
Right.
Because the elite have accepted it. So then I hate to bring up Tucker again, and I hate to use hate because that's such a strong word, but it makes no sense, his comments.
Yeah.
Because if you around the populace, which is, the Western world, you'll see where it's integral in each marketplace. Each graffiti has attained a certain height of recognition. It can't be denied. It's unfortunate that him and a certain class of conservative or whatever you want to call it, leftist at that point, I don't know, but for them to even formulate that idea, that's why it makes me believe, like, are you testing the populace to see what's reactive in the population?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I feel, because if you really, and he's an educated person, not to bring him back up as the back end of our, our scene in this beautiful design that Nadine has laid down. But it's just that you have to observe these things and say to yourself, wait a minute, he's in the upper tier of society. He's gone to every known area of education that you could go to for him to be in front of us. He's in. No, it can't be that he's that naive to say that and to go backwards. He has to be saying it for a reasoning.
Yeah.
And if you use your artist's eye, you possibly can see it. Am I saying my observations or Nadine's observations is A1? No, we're saying, just like when you look at a diamond, you can look at a situation and say, those are two other different facets or ways of looking at this particular situation. And each person that adds their particular perspective or observation on the matter, we can have multiple facets. So you see how it's just beautiful. Art is in every aspect of your life. It'll help you, you know what I mean? Strategize, formulate, resolve issues, you know what I mean? Whether positive or negative, the way the human being sees it, that's another situation. We're not talking about that aspect per se. You're seeing that aspect on display right now. But outside of that, verbally us worrying about it, nah. Because each individual is going to have to encounter that in their own space and place. And that's just the way it is, everybody. It's not our philosophy. It's just the observation of how you see other human beings surviving and just looking out the window, watching the asphalt fold.
Yeah. Because it's been folding.
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we can say that Nadine is moving on up. She's moving on up to the east.
Up
to
she's the place
of that creative sky. She's moving on up to the east. Of that creative pie. You know? Yeah, Nadine. See, that's the fun graffiti artists and all artists have, man. You can have so much fun doing this stuff. You see? Then you could put other little nomenclatures in and around it. Like it could be like name and you put love in one leaf, you know.
Oh.
You put peace in one leaf. You know what I mean? These are all aspects of nay love. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, put a heart right in the stone. Bang. What? There you go. Enough said, Nadine. Enough said.
Enough said.
Yeah. Another one of the young people's term that they say another one, they say no more. Say no more.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And if you're elders like you and I, they'll say no more, OG, say no more.
Or say no more, OG.
Say no more. Or they'll say, Unc, say no more. Got you. Say no more.
I got you. Say no more.
Yep. Meaning that I heard you. I'm one with you. I heard what you said. I'm taking that into account. Don't worry. I'm not going to mess this up. I got you. Say no more. Don't overtalk it now. If you overtalk it now, I'm going to be bothered by you. You know what I'm saying? That's what that's saying.
Yep.
So anybody that's under 40 and they say no more, you're like, oh, I understand what you're saying, my friend. Got you. You got me, I got you. Bet. Roger, Dodger, check, Dodger. Roger that copy. That's when I start going back to my, I was a communicator in the Marine Corps. So yeah. Yeah. Alpha. Let me stop.
Delta.
Mm-hmm.
Alpha, Delta, Charlie. No, Charlie, Delta.
Yep.
Frank.
Delta, Oscar.
Oscar.
November.
Why'd you put November in there?
D-O-N.
D-O-N. Zulu.
Yep.
What was X? X-ray.
All right. Tango.
That was a good one too. So what we're talking about, if you don't know, if you haven't heard it, I'm sure you have heard it. Sometimes when you get those calls and from companies and they want to confirm that they're spelling your name right, they'll start spelling it out using those names. So if it's Don, it would be Delta, X-ray.
No, not X-ray.
No, Don, Delta, Oscar, November.
Mm-hmm. Alpha.
L was, I forgot what L was. What's L? You remember?
Put your own one in there for right now then. Love.
Love or Larry.
Delta.
Delta.
Yeah, there's Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with the SB and so on and so forth.
Yep.
E is Tango, E is Echo.
E is Echo, that's right.
Yep.
I thought it was X-ray, but yeah, you're right, it's Echo.
Yep.
I'm going to have to get another Sharpie. My Sharpies are dying out.
Well, yeah, that's how you do it. I got a whole bag. Like, yeah, it gets like that. You got to have the micro ones and the fat ones. I would say everybody go to Staples. That's the cheapest place you can get it. Staples or Office Max. And they sell like a little packet of 12 of them for like less than $10.
Mm-hmm. And then you off to the race.
Say again?
Then you're off to the races.
Well, yeah, you just got to make sure you keep the caps on them. You can take a drop of alcohol and drop it into the tip and then let the alcohol go through, and then now you turn it right side up to be able to write with it to get every little bit of ink out of it that you can.
Oh.
Yeah, there's different little things you can do to bring the marker back so you can use it. Maybe just putting the cap back on it so it can moisten and you have it pointed downward towards the felt. So all the flow of the ink can flow towards the felt.
Mm-hmm.
As we just throw these markers around, we don't even think about how to care for them.
And that's something.
Yeah, I know, because we take it for granted because they're so inexpensive now. But the higher end of them, you're not going to want to do that with. You're going to want to take your time to get to understand what that felt is and how to really utilize that felt and to keep it saturated so that every time you're able to do a stroke or a mark, it's ready to relieve itself of the material to leave behind the mark where you want it so that you don't have to come back a second time. And that's what, these Stettler, Sharpie markers, were made for. One-time uses like that. Like, it's supposed to do its thing all the way through to the last drop. And then go online, everybody. Go to YouTube and look for how to saturate your markers. Expo markers for your dry erasers. Sharpie markers, how to resaturate them. How to make them extend the life of your marker. Designer markers, which are these professional markers. And they have different brands and such. You know, they got watercolor markers too that you can just add water to the cartridge, and then you'll still be able to have it saturated. Only problem there is now you got to buy more, you know, ink cartridges from that particular company to fulfill the usage.
That's true.
Or they have these other ones now that you can use, which are refillable water, you know, portable markers. I know Josh, when he hears me talking about this, he's gonna laugh because I didn't like them at first when I first seen them on the market. I really didn't like them. Why would you do that? You can just get a bottled water and a brush and you're good. You know what I mean?
Right.
I come from that. But, you know, I see the usages of it. And I started to use some of those portable markers for when you buy dyes or concentrated watercolors, liquid watercolors. And I found that if you buy those inexpensive portable brushes, and instead of filling them up with just water, take a whole set of those empty ones and then subscribe what color you're going to put in each marker, then yeah, you got a wonderful set that you can use, watercolor sets you can use. So I like using them that way. I'll buy a bunch of empties and then put what ink I want inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of different ones on the market that you can do that. You can buy the different inks and dyes and then see which ones you like and then go with that brand and that company, you know what I mean, and that particular material. And that's how artists find what they like, you know what I mean? That's why this is a funny era too, because everybody wants you to do the computer, but then the computer is not allowing you to deal with raw materials.
Right.
So that's the only drawback. You're not using actual materials, you're using an ink or a dye. Well, that's just one aspect of the human experience with materials.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can imply texture with the computer, but it's implied based upon a mold, based upon the paper having texture first before they can spray down the liquid ink that spray down.
And it acts differently.
Right, yeah. It acts and reacts like watercolor because it needs the paper brilliance. So that's what, you know, the digital world and digital artists have to deal with. Because every time you confront an artist that says they're a digital artist, you know, you don't have to become very arrogant. You just ask them. So you're not dealing with the idea of real texture and material. You're worried about an implied idea.
Yes.
Well, you know, you'll find most people will say no.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the argument. Check it out on the art scene. Honestly, you'll hear some stuff, you'll be like, huh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this is all around even what we're doing right now. These are the arguments that are out there in the art world or in the art scene or in the American art scene at that point.
Right.
And go and look into those magazines that say, you know what I mean, what's art in America?
Mm-hmm.
So Art Today, you know, American Art. There's a couple of other ones that are high key, you know, magazines. Go to your Barnes and Nobles in your area and go to the magazine aisle that they have sometimes on the back walls of Barnes and Nobles or bookstores. And you'll see all the new, like Art Now, Art America.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the top, you know, periodicals on the idea of the art scene of America and what's the tops based upon going to each marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of artists hold these magazines high, because you get a certain recognition. from being just mentioned in these magazines, you know.
Right.
Like to bring Lavette Ballard back up, and I salute her all day. Do you realize that he's an area artist that had the opportunity not once, but twice to be on the cover of Time magazine? A lot of people don't know how important that is.
Right. To be recognized.
Like that, twice, not once, twice on the cover of Time magazine. Salute that lady, man. I'm not gonna call her a sister. I'm gonna say salute that lady.
Give her flowers.
Right, man, because that's not easy to do. That's not easy to do. That's not easy to do, to get it twice. Like, so salute to her to being a mid-Atlantic artist, you know what I mean? And local. She's in the Burlington County region. That's why I tell people when they say, well, I don't know of any female artists of significance. I say, well, I do, locally right around you. And how dare you say that?
Right. You haven't really looked.
Yeah, it's many more, but when you talk about certain things like periodicals and regional stuff like that, especially when you talk about magazines, then yeah, you got to bring that up, because to be in and on or talked about in Time magazine is a big thing. It's the same thing for National Geographic too as well. But Time magazine, I think, is slightly a little bit higher in certain categories than National Geographic. You know, another one is the Playboy magazine. You wouldn't believe it, but it's international.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, and if you get mentioned there, it's like you're in the high end of the socialite world to be seen, or your imagery and taken into consideration. Man, these are periodicals that have time-tested, you know what I mean, values and the fabric of what America is. What the Western world is. See, that's what people don't take into consideration. And that's why we have to go back to our line. Excuse us for talking art.
Yeah, excuse us for talking art.
Yeah, because if it goes deeper, you'll understand Tucker Carlson's comment is really erroneous, because art is a commodity. And if art is a commodity, then it's on the stock exchange, and it's where? In the exchange market of the Sotheby's, you know what I mean?
Right.
High-end flip. You get that attention there, how can it not be of relevance in society? What are you saying? That the Sotheby's don't have any, you know, value in society, globally speaking, at that point?
I don't know.
To the point where if you go to their website, they got different franchise. So it's not only the $1 million end. Right now, one of us, you or I, can get our work on Sotheby's in their categories of 1,000 to 5,000. Like, they got different categories based upon the value, the economic value. And then they're going to go and check your area to see if you're known in your area. The first thing they look at is the newspaper, the local newspaper.
Yep, believe it or not, they still do look at the newspaper.
Yeah. And they go to all those websites. They got certain classifications of research that they're authorized to be in, so they can put your name in a roster where all that information goes, and they wait for things to come up. And it comes up, and then it comes up various times and various time frames. Then they're going to say you're a regionalist artist. This artist is a local artist, so on and so forth. You have to appear in the periodicals in that area regionally or nationally. International is a whole nother idea. But within the confines of the Americas, you can go local, regional, or national. So Time magazine is what? A national periodical. And an international period. So she gets two with one stone.
Wow.
Yeah. Think about how many airports and everything where Time magazine shows up. And everybody may start to fit their head around the magnitude of what has happened for that young lady.
Yeah.
And how now from that, you wind up in several different collections, art shows all over the world, well, all over the nation right now. You know, she may be international at this point. Don't know. I haven't researched to see if she had. Well, you got to say that's implied there too as well. If she's in certain key collections.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get the cover of Time magazine, that's it. You can't just, you know, sell in a local yokel arena.
Right.
Because you got, you know, people subscribing. Oh, I like the way you threw that pink in there. How you do that there? See the freedom that you're able to take, Nadine?
Yeah.
And then I can just see the yellow green in the two leaves down there.
Oh, yellow green.
Yeah, the yellow green and those two leaves, those two smaller leaves down at the lower left hand corner of your design.
Hmm.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one. And watch how that offsets the green. I mean, offsets the red and just brings your attention to those two colors. Look at that. Yep. You can make one leaf yellow and one leaf yellow green. Yep. Look at that. See how that jumps? And that's just black and white and and three highlighters. Look at that. Look at the interest that's brought in that. So it's very simple how these things can go down, everybody. And you just saw what we did. We used the photograph as an idea template, a template to start a design.
Mm-hmm.
It's endless the different ways you can use that photograph. I suggest everybody take a chance and utilize the photograph and look at the different ideas on how you can use it. Turn that, make a copy of it, a physical copy of it on paper if you have a printer at home, and then use it, turn it upside down. If you don't have that accessibility, then on your screen, press the edit. Well, first make a copy of it, make a copy to the copy, and manipulate the copy so that you don't, how do you say, manipulate the original that you're going to copy. So you're going to copy it twice. Copy it from our page. Then when you get it on your system, copy it again so you have two copies. And then you manipulate the second one. So then that means that you would press edit on the second one, and where it says rotate, turn it upside down, flip the whole scene around. You see what it can offer you. Yeah, Nadine, all you gotta do is move your hands back so we can see it. Beautiful. Yeah, way to go. Way to go. Yeah, way to go. Way to go. There you go, everybody. There you go. You have it. Another Nay Love piece.
Nay Love.
Yep. I like it.
That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad I turned the fan off. Even though I'm sweating, I turned the fan off. You can hear me a little bit better. I can hear you a little bit better. So, you know.
And sometimes it can mess with the sound, cut it out a little bit.
Yeah. But it's not bad. I use it for an opportunity to sweat off some more pounds. Yep, I'm down to what? 270, everybody. 270. Woo! Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm down to. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna try to take it a little bit lower, but for right now, we're just gonna do it gradually. Yeah. I'm trying to get my mobility to be a little bit better. I had to see from when I got hit on the bike. I had to, let that hip, heal up a little bit, and it's taking a little bit longer than what I thought. So, but it's healing up pretty good. Everything is working. The eating properly is working. So everything is good on that. Flexibility is coming back because I'm stretching more. Good. And, so just remember, All things can be done. You just have to be patient with yourself and take your time. You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
Once you understand that everything works out in the long run. You may
Mm-hmm.
not 100%, but at least you're over 75%. So that means
Mm-hmm.
you still live and you just make it work. My thing is to stay over 90% as much as I can, as long as I can.
Gotcha.
You see, so if we can stretch that through the 50s into the 60s of staying above a 90 percentile, 95 percentile, as far as energy, mental health and stability and things like that. Notice how I'm not mentioning economics. I'm mentioning the stuff that's tangible for my physical form. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, that's more important to have that. It's like having a trillion dollars at that point. It's a number that it can't even be described to say that if you have your health, over 90% of your health still over a certain age, you can't put no money to that.
Right.
And I see more and more elders that I see that are like over 65 that are bodybuilders and stuff like that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking at their, I'm saying, wow, long as you keep that muscle dense, it doesn't have to be a six pack. Just keep it dense enough that you still feel the energy go through your muscle. That's what you
Mm-hmm.
want. Because some of the older bodybuilders like Lou Ferrigno, who's the guy that the brother that won, the African American male, that Lee Haney,
Mm-hmm.
all guys, if you look at them now, they look okay. You know what I mean? Meaning
Mm-hmm.
that they're dense. So, and if you talk to the best of them, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know what I mean? When you look at him, when he actually takes his workout serious enough, sometimes you can see it even in him. Whereas, keeping your muscles dense is the key to keep your joints and your tendons reactive,
Mm-hmm.
or active. You know what I mean? That's the key. And then that's what helps to keep your weight down. If you have more muscle than fat or excess fat, then that's the ratio you want to be in. And now people, you can take that any which way you want to, but it's not with malicious intent that I'm saying this. These are actual facts. If you look, the internet can educate everybody to a whole nother level. And they predicted this in the 1950s, you guys, that you're supposed to be utilizing the computer to self-educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So please take us the wrong way in some of our conversation and the rhetoric that we may have. You know what I mean? We talk a lot. The conversation is vast. And believe it or not, a lot of people really enjoy our conversations that we have going along with the art. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we came up with the line, excuse us for talking art.
Talking art.
And I believe it comes from Clement Greenberg, everybody. So, but it's an art critic term. So, if you find us to be wrong, that's okay. We don't worry about being wrong because we know ultimately if he was wrong, we had to be right. And in order to be right, we had to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So if I look at over 50% of that, I was right. You see what I'm saying? Why not, everybody? Excuse us for talking art. We're still going to talk it, though. But don't take us the wrong way and don't think it's spoken out of arrogance or malicious intent. No, it's not for that reasoning. It's to show and build confidence in those people that are 50 and over, first and foremost, and in everybody else that's underneath that point to show you that arrogance is not the way. How would you say observation and confidence is the true way of doing it? And why not be confident in movements? Yeah, enjoy. And that's why we're creating. And the other one we say is a t-shirt that Nadine got on. When my eyes open, it's on. Yeah, that's the one with the eyes on it, everybody. So yeah, and I suggest you guys too, if you did a lot of ballpoint pen drawings with us and you carried on that ballpoint pen idea, start scanning your images into the computer. Start understanding your design programs or your photography programs to be able to manipulate your photographs to make them line drawings. Mm-hmm. This is nothing new. I'm not exploring anything new. This is already on the market. So you're not stealing Don's idea. you know what I mean, or Don's process. This is a process that's out there. The one, we're not getting advertising for it, but the one app that makes it easy and is comparable to, how would you say, the industry standards, which is Illustrator, Quote Express, things like this, is Inkscape, everybody. And it's a shareware. And they take donations. I've sent them donations of like 20, 30 bucks because I've made money with their program. So it's only right that I offset when I do make money with the design. I try to take off a certain percentage for that interest to keep them going so I can keep going, so on and so forth, everybody. So I would say to you all, open source and start looking for open source apps and materials so that you can take full advantage of what our experience is telling you to do or suggesting to you to do. And so you can see for yourself on how to keep creating. And I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, because that's what it's all about. It's about us creating, observing, walking around with an open mind and putting perfection aside and just exist in the doing, in the just over and over and over and over again, as in Don has reminded us that repetition is key because perfection is a lie. And this, you know, this is what it's about. The more you do it, the more comfortable you get. And honestly, yes, I'm getting more comfortable.
Let's say it in a scientific way so we can sound like scientists. Say we're creating new pathways of neuron experience so that you could have new ways of creativity, new channels of creativity to come out to the world. Once you establish that the mind now and the brain can make new nerve transmissions and pathways. Keep creating.
Keep creating. Boy, did he preach that one out.
Amen.
That's right. It's all about creating, y'all. It really is all about creating. And we want to get you excited about creating. Whether it is you're just out there rearranging the flowers in your little flower bed, to taking pictures, to sketching on a napkin, or whatever little piece of material that you can leave a mark. And, you know, it's graffiti artists like the ones that we've been mentioning, the ones that we've seen in our everyday life, that if we just dive a little deeper to see what it is that they're actually trying to say, we'll go into a museum and stand and look at a piece of art and we'll ask, what is it they're trying to say? But we're not doing that in everyday life. We need to do more of that. We need to walk around with a more of an observant mind, in my opinion. And I think that's what Don is also trying to get you excited about doing. And that's being more observant. Take some time when you're sitting in the park to look up. Look at the branches on the leaves, and then how the leaves on the branches and how they may fall at certain times of the year, and how the sun is coming through, and how the shadows are falling onto the ground, and the bird is perched on one of the branches and then takes off, you know, what direction they are going. Take a little time to just be. And Asian cultures, and many of the Asian cultures, I would just say Buddhist thought or whatever like that, Zen thought, esoteric thought, is just about being in the now, in this moment, not in the past, not in the future, in the present. So,
buddy,
that's all I have to say. That's what I get from just hanging with this buddy here. And I hope you are enjoying the experience as well. Be sure to leave a comment if you haven't already left a comment, like this video. You can go over and see more about what Don does, just in case you just think he just scribbles every now and then, maybe sell a painting or two here or there. Go over to DonStephensArt.com and check out what he does in the community. And
his accolades. You can see a whole list. I can't even read through all of it. It's so much. And if you want to buy a t-shirt, you can buy his t-shirt creations right there. Support him. If you want to support what we're doing, go over to Patreon, become a member. It's very affordable. You can't miss out, and you will have access 24/7 to the videos, because we don't know how long we can keep the videos up here on Facebook. So we have Patreon, we put them up there to hold it so that you can follow you, and you interact with us, we'll be able to interact back. But when we don't hear from you, we don't know what it is that you're looking to do in your life. So let us know. Did I leave anything out?
No, we're right on cue. You know,
All right.
That's normally what, and you know, we just say keep creating after that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, keep creating, everybody. Listen, have a blessed week. Enjoy, stay cool, enjoy the rest of your time today. Yes, keep them punching. Go out there and look. Oh, and go on to our page. Okay, in the feed. I was driving around. I wasn't driving. I was in a car, and all of a sudden, all this graffiti art was popping up, and I was trying to capture it. And because Don had challenged all of us to, when you see some art, to take pictures of it and share it with us. So I post a couple on there, and one was actually like saying I'm here, but even more so like you go look and see what the message is. And it was 2 different styles, and if you can categorize which one they were, I'd love to see you categorize it. And that's from our previous session on graffiti art. There's a certain term for the 2 styles that I posted. All right. Thank you, Don. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Art Fam. Yes. Take it easy. And we're out. Keep creating.
Keep creating.